Number 10. Dolphins. You already know them as the geniuses of the ocean. Playful, social, slightly chaotic. But what if I told you they might also be tiny underwater thrill seekers? Here's the scene. A group of dolphins finds a pufferfish. Now, most animals avoid pufferfish like it's a floating landmine, because it basically is. It contains a toxin called tetrodotoxin, which can straight up paralyze or kill. So naturally, dolphins start passing it around like it's a party snack. No, seriously, they gently chew on the pufferfish. Not enough to die, just enough to release tiny doses of the toxin. Then they let it go, and the next dolphin takes a turn. And after that, they start acting weird, floating near the surface, moving slowly, almost like they're staring at their own reflections in the water like, whoa, I have fins. Scientists believe they're intentionally using the toxin to enter a mild trance-like state, basically getting high on purpose. And the wildest part? This isn't a one-time accident. It looks organized, social, almost like a group activity. Dolphins aren't just smart. They're out here microdosing toxic fish and turning it into a bonding experience. Nature is weird, and dolphins might be weirder. Number 9. Pen-tailed tree shrew. Looks like a tiny harmless squirrel. Cute, quiet, probably sleeps early, right? Absolutely not. Because this little guy is basically a nightly drinker. In Southeast Asia, certain palm trees produce nectar that naturally ferments. Translation, it's low-key alcohol. Every single night. And the tree shrew, it shows up like a regular at a bar. Drinks it, a lot of it, for hours. Here's the crazy part. They can consume alcohol levels that would wreck most animals and stay completely functional. No stumbling, no dramatic collapse, just casually sipping like a professional. Scientists think they've evolved a crazy high alcohol tolerance. While most animals accidentally get drunk, this tiny creature runs a daily drinking routine and somehow handles it better than humans ever could. Number 8. Vervet monkeys. Smart, sneaky, professional troublemakers. Now put them near a beach full of tourists, and things escalate fast, because these monkeys have figured something out. Humans leave drinks unattended, and not just any drinks. Sweet, colorful, suspiciously fruity cocktails. So what do vervet monkeys do? They wait, they watch, and the second you look away, snatch. One grab, and suddenly your piña colada is now community property. But they don't just taste it, they drink it. And here's the funny part. Studies have shown they actually have preferences. Some go for lighter drinks, others, straight for the strong stuff. Yeah, these monkeys have opinions on alcohol. After a few sips, their behavior changes. More aggressive, more reckless, way less coordinated, basically turning into tiny, chaotic party crashers with zero boundaries. Scientists even use them to study alcohol consumption patterns because, well, they act a lot like humans. So next time you're at the beach, guard your drink, because somewhere nearby, a vervet monkey is watching, and it's ready to outdrink you. Number 7. Bees. The ultimate productivity machines. Wake up, work, repeat. No complaints. Basically the overachievers of nature. But even they have a wild side. Some flowers actually lace their nectar with caffeine, tiny doses of a stimulant. So when bees drink it, they don't just get energy, they get obsessed. Caffeinated bees are more likely to remember those flowers and keep coming back. Like, this one hits different. Nature literally hacked their brain to boost pollination. But wait, it gets messier. If nectar ferments, it can produce alcohol. And bees will drink that too. Drunk bees? Not great. They fly poorly, miss the hive, sometimes get rejected at the entrance like, nope, you're not coming in like that. There are even guard bees that block intoxicated bees from entering. So yeah, even the most disciplined workers in nature can get hooked on caffeine and occasionally show up drunk to work. Corporate behavior, honestly. Number 6. Black lemurs. Big eyes, fluffy tails, innocent vibes. Don't trust that face, because these guys have a very weird habit. They actively hunt toxic millipedes, not to eat them, but to use them like living bug spray. Here's how it goes. A lemur grabs a millipede, bites it just enough to make it panic, and when it panics, it releases toxic chemicals as a defense. Then it rubs that toxin all over its fur, face, arms, tail, everywhere, basically turning itself into a walking fuzzy chemical weapon. Why? Because those toxins repel mosquitoes and parasites. So it's part survival strategy, part DIY skincare routine. But wait, it gets weirder. Sometimes the lemurs don't just rub it on. They chew on the millipede, get a little dose of the toxin, and suddenly they look dazed, slower, almost like they're enjoying it a bit too much. Scientists think they might be getting mildly intoxicated in the process. Black lemurs aren't just staying bug-free. They might be getting a tiny buzz while doing it. Nature said, multitask. And lemurs took that personally. Number 5. Cats. Tiny predators. Zero respect for your authority. And completely helpless when catnip shows up. Catnip contains a chemical called nepetalactone. To humans, nothing. To cats, absolute chaos. The moment they smell it, something flips. They roll, rub their faces, zoom around like they just unlocked infinite energy. Then suddenly, they flop over like their soul left their body. It's basically a 5-minute roller coaster of pure nonsense. And the best part? They seek it out. Given the chance, cats will go back to catnip again and again like, yes, this is my personality now. Scientists think it mimics certain pheromones, triggering a euphoric response. Your cool, mysterious cat? One sniff away from turning into a furry, dramatic mess. And dignity? Gone. Replaced by vibes. Number 4. Cedar Waxwings. This little bird looks elegant. Sleek feathers, smooth vibe. Very put together, until berry season turns into happy hour. These birds love fruit, especially berries. But here's the problem. Sometimes those berries sit a little too long. They ferment, and when that happens, congratulations, nature just invented bird alcohol. So cedar waxwings swoop in and start feasting. A lot, like way more than they should. And pretty soon, things go off the rails. They start flying erratically, missing branches, crashing into windows like tiny, feathery missiles with bad judgment. Some even struggle to perch, just wobbling around like, yeah, I meant to do that. Wildlife rescuers actually deal with this every year because these birds basically overdo it on fermented fruit and end up seriously drunk. And that graceful bird you see? Give it a few overripe berries, and it turns into a flying example of why you should know your limits. Number 3. Wallabies. Basically the chill, smaller cousins of kangaroos. Cute, bouncy, harmless, until they find a poppy field. In Tasmania and Australia, farmers have a very specific problem. Wallabies breaking into fields of opium poppies. Yes, opium. The same plant used to produce powerful narcotics. And these little guys? They don't just nibble. They go all in. They eat the poppies, absorb the compounds, and then things get weird. Suddenly it's erratic hopping, strange circles, totally off-balance movements, like a furry pogo stick that forgot how gravity works. Farmers have even reported them bouncing in loops over and over again, like they're stuck in some glitchy simulation. Scientists believe the opium compounds affect their nervous system, causing these bizarre behaviors. That adorable wallaby might secretly be trespassing, getting high, and turning a farm into its personal chaos zone. Cute on the outside, absolute menace on poppy fields. Number 2. Reindeer. Calm, majestic, holiday mascot energy. In the wild, reindeer have a very different hobby. They go looking for bright red mushrooms with white spots, Amanita muscaria, commonly known as fly agaric. These mushrooms contain psychoactive compounds that mess with the brain. And once the reindeer start munching, things get weird. They can become hyper, disoriented. Sometimes they start acting oddly energetic, like they've had way too much coffee and zero supervision. Basically, not your peaceful snow-gliding creature anymore. And here's where it gets even stranger. In some Arctic cultures, people noticed this behavior and figured out that reindeer urine can still contain those psychoactive compounds, just filtered and less toxic. That's a whole different level of second-hand high. So, behind the magical image of reindeer, there might just be a mushroom-fueled trip going on. Holiday spirit hits different in the wild. Number 1. Elephants. Smart, emotional. Basically the wise elders of the animal kingdom. So you'd think they'd have their life together, right? Well, not when marula season hits. Marula trees drop these juicy fruits, and elephants love them. But here's the catch. When the fruit sits around for a while, it ferments. Then it turns into nature's version of alcohol. So elephants roll up to what is essentially a free, open bar buffet and start eating. A lot. And after enough fermented fruit, things get wobbly, stumbling, swaying, bumping into trees. Basically a 5-ton animal that suddenly forgot how legs work. Now, to be fair, scientists debate how drunk they actually get. It takes a lot of fermented fruit to affect an elephant. But unusual, tipsy-looking behavior has been observed. So whether it's full-on intoxication or just a mild buzz, one thing's clear. Even the calmest giants can't resist a little fermented chaos. Nature's biggest animals, acting like they just discovered happy hour. Thanks for watching. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.